today's video. It's been a long week. My body is sore, so I figured I would take you through some of my post-workout training stretching. So typically I like to get my 2 sessions done. I typically do about 2 sessions a day. I know a lot of you guys have been asking. And then I like to take a shower, I like to have a meal, and then I like to unwind and just kind of think about my day or think about other things I need to get done, or just turn my brain off and just focus and stretch. So it's just a really good way for me to kind of settle back down after a lot of the hard work that I've put in for the day. So I'm going to start you with a couple of the general stretches that I like to do every single day. These aren't the ones I always do at the end of the day, but it's how I work into my evening routine. And then I'm gonna take you through some of my evening routine. We're gonna focus a lot on lower body. At the end, we'll open up our upper back and our chest just a little bit, but my legs are pretty beat up, so that's where I'm gonna spend a good amount of my time during the stretching routine today. The first thing I'm gonna start with is a down dog hold into a push-up with a press-up. So I'm not gonna do the push-up for strength. I'm just gonna kind of let my body lower to the floor and relax, and then release my chest. So what that's gonna look like, I like to do about 10 of these reps. Just kind of sets the tone. I'll start to work on my breathing so I can start to unwind and relax. So I'm gonna take my hands, put them on my mat. From here, I'm just gonna hold, and I like to think about trying to get my heels towards the floor and my biceps right by my ears, as I'm driving my tailbone up towards the ceiling and then focusing on my breath. So I'll take about 2 or 3 big deep breaths, and then I'll come forward. If I have to adjust my feet, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna release my chest to where I can. If that's not comfortable for you, then just release to your elbows. Hold for a couple seconds, and then we're gonna go back. We're gonna try to drive further into our down dog. So pressing our tailbone to the ceiling, breathing and relaxing, and then we're gonna come forward again, just lowering down and then lifting the chest. So once I've done about 10 of my down dog into my push-up, I feel like I'm starting to let go. I've started to focus on my breathing, and I've kind of set the mood and the tone and the vibe for my evening stretches. Then I'm gonna go into my pigeon runner. This is one of my favorites. I love to do it with my classes. So I'll take it right from my down dog. I start in a plank position, and I'm gonna drive my shin forward towards my front hand and then try to sit my hip down while I keep my chest nice and tall. I'm just gonna hold, so where I feel this stretch is right through the glute, down through the side, and then I go back to my plank position, bring my other shin forward, drop my back knee, and try to sit my hip towards the ground and hold. It's just a really great active hip stretch, and I like to start with some of these active stretches just to work in to letting my body let go. You can't force yourself into certain positions, so it's good to slowly work into your stretching routine. So those are my first 2 go-tos. Once I've gone through those first 2 stretches, I start to dive a little bit deeper into the stretches that are definitely uncomfortable for me. I've never been naturally flexible or mobile, so it's definitely something I have to work on. And I notice in my lifts and in my training, when I've been working on it, my squats feel better, things hurt less. So it's something I try to do at the end of each day. So using my GoWOD app, this is where the stretch comes from. I like the app because it's gonna tell me how long. So what I'm gonna do for the twist hip opener, I'm gonna essentially come into a long lunge. So this will be another stretch in a second. And then I'm gonna grab my back foot and I'm just gonna rotate. Then I'll start my app. It'll count down for 1 to 2 minutes. And I'm just gonna hold here and breathe. If you cannot reach your toe, what we can do is we can grab a band. I have a towel. Yeah, there we go. So it took me a second, but slide it under your back ankle. From here you can rotate. That's if you're not able to get to your foot. Ideally, we wanna make sure that we can grab our big toe and we can just rotate here. So I'm keeping my chest open, getting a nice good rotation in my shoulder, and then this is gonna load that back quad with a really, really deep stretch, which is gonna feel really good and a little bit uncomfortable. All right, so my next one I really like. It's gonna target my hip flexor and my hamstring. So we're hitting 2 in 1. So it's gonna be about a 2 to 3 minute, I usually set it for my 2-minute countdown. So I just hit start. So I'm gonna start with a tall chest. I wanna always keep my chest tall throughout this stretch. I'm in a wide lunge position, knee tracking out. I'm gonna drive my knee as far forward as I can, keeping my chest tall. So I'm just sinking my hips down, my knee out over my toe. We don't wanna let our chest drop. Otherwise that will, if we let our chest drop, it's gonna take the stretch out of the back hip flexor. We should be feeling it through here. So hips pressed forward, sinking my back knee. I like to hold for 3 to 5 seconds, keep an eye on my app. And then from here, I'm gonna rock back and I'm gonna try to grab my big toe. Again, keeping your chest from letting your back round, staying active. And that's gonna put a really nice stretch in our hamstring. Then from here, I'm gonna see if I can dive deeper, get my knee further out over my toe, a nice good hip flexor stretch, 3 to 5 seconds. And then I'm gonna sit back again and hold 3 to 5 seconds. So I like to go through this stretch for time periods, so 2 to 3 minutes on each leg. Just breathing and seeing if each time I sink forward, if I can drive my knee further over my toe and get my hips a little deeper without letting my chest drop. So the next one I'm gonna target is my quads again. In CrossFit and in fitness and squatting, lots of things, we use our quads a lot. If our quads get tight, sometimes we can get some knee pain, we can get some hip pain, so we wanna make sure that we keep stretching that out. For me, I'm gonna go through a half kneeling quad stretch, lying on my back. So what that means is I'm gonna tuck one leg behind, so my knee is bent, my heel is close to my butt. You can also do this with double leg. I'm just not quite there yet. So to scale this, you can start with a foam roller, you can start with a pillow, put it right behind your back, and then you're just gonna start your timer and relax into this stretch so it's less intense. Once I've worked into it, or if I'm feeling pretty good that day, I'll remove my foam roller, and then I'll come all the way to the ground. So gently lowering yourself down and then just stretching. So I also feel that in my ankle, which for me is a good thing because I have tight ankles. So I'll just lay here for 1 to 2 minutes and I'll start to notice my body let go and my back be able to relax to the floor a little bit more and a little bit easier by the end of the stretch. Once I've hit hips, I like to make sure I give my upper body just a little bit of love. We typically work out. When we work out, we don't just hit legs, we do everything. So I'm gonna give you guys 2 shoulder stretches that are 2 of my go-tos every single night that help with my pec, help with my neck, help with my traps, because we tend to use them a lot. So the first one is called side to side. It's from GoWOD. I freaking love this stretch. I do it every single night, do it a lot of times while I'm watching TV or hanging out with Pat. So I'll just come down on my hands and my knees. You're gonna start with one arm is gonna go to about 90 degrees. The other arm's gonna go long. We're gonna think about trying to press the front of our shoulder through the ground, and you should get a great stretch through your bicep all the way down your hand. So what it's gonna look like, I'm gonna look away from my hand. So I'm gonna try to press my arm to the floor, hold for a second or 2, and then switch. Other arm comes out, look away, and switch. So I'll go through this for 2 minutes at a time. Usually by the end of the 2 minutes, I just want to do it again because it feels so good. And the goal for some of us, if we have really tight chest, is going to be by the end of our 2 minutes to be able to look the opposite way and get this arm flat to the ground with our hips in the air. Definitely give that one a go. The final one that I really enjoy is going to be a little bit of neck and trap, and it also works on our quads and our ankles. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1 stretch. So the way this one's gonna work is I've done this one before. It's one of my go-to stretches. Sitting back on my ankles. From here, I like to pull my one arm behind and then let my opposite head drop. So you should get a really awesome stretch all through your traps and through your shoulder and even a little bit of your tricep, your ankles, and your quads. So it's a very simple stretch that has a lot of bang for the buck with this stretch. So just letting your head fall and then focusing here on your breathing. All right, guys, so a big question I get is when do we use our foam roller? So those of you guys who aren't familiar with foam rolling, it's a really hard cylinder-like object where you basically smash out your hamstrings, you can smash out your quads, and it's almost like a myofascial massage. So we get these little adhesions in our tissue, and by using this foam roller and applying pressure and just rolling back and forth for about 2 minutes in each spot, you can help release those adhesions and bring fresh new blood to the area to help with your muscle recovery and help warm your muscles up. So for me, I tend to like to foam roll before I start a workout. When I get to the gym, I'll grab my foam roller. I like to hit my hamstrings, my quads, right along my IT band. So I know that's not a muscle, but we wanna make sure that we're rolling the edges of it where it connects into our hamstring and our quads. And then I like to do my calves as well, and even my upper back. So kind of my whole body. I find it hard to foam roll my upper body. So I typically will do banded stretches or smashing with a lacrosse ball or something along those lines on my upper body. But I think foam rolling for me is a really nice way to ease into my workouts, start to get some blood flow, start to wake up, because you're usually holding in very active position, so holding yourself up and starting to feel like you're smashing out your muscles to warm them up. So for me, I prefer foam rolling before the workout. It's very active and I feel like it helps warm me up. After my workout, I prefer to do some stretching, so more static holds. And the reason I like that is because in a static hold, I can focus on letting my body unwind and I can focus on letting my body recover. So just kind of trying to turn everything off and bring my nervous system back down instead of being in an active position. So that's why I like to stretch after both of my training sessions are done. It's just a great way for me to really breathe in my breath, or tie in my breath work, and also just turn my brain off and let myself start to relax and almost start to melt into the floor and let everything just let go. Because throughout the day, and especially while I'm training, I have a list, and right now my list is very long because we're building for a competition. So that means my volume is increasing each week, my blocks are going up. And some days I write my list down and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get through all of this with everything else that I have to do that day. So I feel like there's always, just no matter what, even though I love it, I enjoy it, there's a little bit of stress that comes along with that, and it's the stress of getting the work done. So after it's done, and after I feel like maybe I've hit the percentages on my lifts that I was supposed to hit, I'm satisfied with the workout and my effort, then I can finally take a huge exhale and just kind of melt into these stretches and unwind for the day. So if you guys aren't sure of what you want to do first, maybe give foam rolling a try before your workout, and then when you're done working out for the day, try to find a stretching routine that allows you to focus on your breathing, allows you to unwind and calm your nervous system back down. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video. I love sharing just a little look into my life. In the evenings, you can find me on my GoWOD mat, usually in front of the TV, hanging out with Pat, just trying to recover, trying to unwind, and trying to relax so I can prep myself and get ready for the next day. If there's any other stretching videos or mobility questions that you guys have, I'd love for you to drop in the comments, or maybe drop in the comments what you're looking forward to most for the rest of the summer. Seems like things are starting to softly reopen in a way, and I'd love to know what you're looking forward to or what you've been missing. So make sure to drop that below. If you like this video, smash the like button, and I guess until next time, I hope you guys have a great day.